Alright, what's up? We're back, people. It's episode 6 of the My 26 Cents podcast with Kristofer Golvison. Oh, whoops, I said the wrong episode. It's episode 8. My bad. Oh yeah, also, in this episode, I, uh, I found this game called Insider Trading. I figured I'd throw it on the screen because I've had a good time playing it, and it's a really satisfying game to watch. So, you can maybe just get, locked in like a trance almost watching that if you feel like it. I don't know. I've heard some people say my voice is like very almost like therapeutic. I should do like what's it called? Not voice acting, ebook reading, like reading and being the narrator for like audiobooks and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe this plus the the gameplay. So maybe this plus the gameplay of insider trading, just watching the little icons just go boop boop boop, and then I don't know, the numbers just going up and down is really fun. I recommend playing that game if you're into that sort of thing. I don't know, you don't have to. Some people aren't into games; they just want to watch. You know, like yeah, I think it's kind of cool how some people are like. Actually, I'm like that sometimes, especially for certain games where it's just like I don't know. Some games are too much work, but it's fun to like watch some people play it and be like, especially when they start like freaking out. They're like, "Ah, what the hell?" It's like a group of your friends too, and they're like freaking out, getting mad at each other. Like, what the fuck, man? And you're just off to the side, just like I don't know what the hell is going on. I know I would be doing a worse job than everybody, so I'm really glad I'm not at the center of this. I think that's where a lot of that joy comes from, honestly. At least for me. Um, then there's also that opposite though, where you're just like getting stressed out watching somebody play a game you're better at. You're just like, oh man, just do this instead. But it's just like more work to try to even tell them, you know? So you're just like, I'll let them fucking figure it out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the game and stuff. So now let's get into my thoughts. See you on the other side. And today we're gonna dive into the idea, and some of it's my personal beliefs, some of it's fact. It's a little bit of everything. But we're diving into some of the what's it called? Structures, ways, methods. Yeah, methods and ways of operating inside of college prep schools, both middle school, high school, doesn't matter the age range, but just those groups of schools in general, and why it is in fact not beneficial and not worth the money to send a child there, in most circumstances at least. Obviously, there's exceptions to every rule, but just the throwing a blind eye to it and just being like, oh, college prep, I'll send the kid there. Here, take my money. I mean, first of all, you should definitely look at what's around your area. Some areas of the country, just through the public funding and their local taxes, already have insanely good uh, school systems. So sometimes if you're already in one of those, you don't want to just be like, oh, let's spend a bunch of money to send a kid to a private school in the area, a little college prep school nearby, because it's really just going to be the same quality. And you're already paying for the tax, like a shit ton in taxes for like good public schools. So you might as well you like do that. But yeah, this is gonna be like a two, maybe 3 part sort of thing. We're just gonna dive into I don't know. I just have a bunch of random fucking thoughts. Yeah, this time around we smoked a little J before recording it up. I, I don't think I've ever done this before. Um, we're about to find out how it goes. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit different. Maybe it's gonna be the same. Who the hell knows? Um, got a little Nashville dab pen. Whenever I say Nashville dab, I mean like or Nashville weed. It's like that THCA, not real bullshit. I mean, it hits strong because it's just fucking oil or whatever, but it's not the same. You visit here. You know, you feel it, you taste it. It's not the same. Still good, still good. I'm not gonna complain, but I am complaining. Um, but yeah, now let's get into what we really should complain about. Regarding these like college prep schools and stuff. Um, I think one of the funniest things about it is like, all right, we're gonna get the kids ready for college. Wherever kids like go in college, there's a shit ton of courses, blah, 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 like classes, different areas to major and minor and blah blah blah. And then you go to the college prep school, and then for the most part, they're always smaller than like the public schools and stuff. So then they have like less classes. They have like less teachers, uh, less courses, like less of everything, which is really weird. It's like, all right, we're gonna get these kids ready for college, which is gonna be a land of expanse, and we're gonna only give them like a few things. Obviously, they're maybe really good in those things, but it's like, I don't know, maybe there's a bunch of kids here that are not able to like figure out what they're good at, or like at least like what piques their curiosity before they're about to venture off into the world. You know, um, like I remember at my school, I was like, we didn't have any sort of like wood shopping classes or anything like that. Like none of those like on like with your hands. They had like the pottery or whatever. That was it though. Yeah, but they didn't have like any like wood shop. I really wanted to do that. I was like, oh, this would be like fun. It would have been nice to like get a little bit of like those basic skills of like, all right, well, here's how to do this thing. Here's how you use like this little machine or something. Um, it just seems weird. It's like, all right, the idea is like college prep, so we're gonna get the kids ready for the college. That's what it should be. If that's really what it is, I'm not totally against like schools actually going to that method. But from what I've seen, like that doesn't actually happen. We'll get into that a little bit later. But when you look at it, it's like, all right, we're gonna get the kids ready for the college, so that when they're there, they're prepared, they're prepped. You know, it's weird that we're like, all right, it's smaller. There's less. Even like if they were good and like had everything, just the idea that's like, all right, they got like less teachers, so that's like less like ways you can like learn. If you could even have like good teachers that just don't click with certain students, and now it's like, well, guess what? She's the only science teacher for like the last like 2 grades or whatever. Well, now you just got a bunch of kids that just they don't click with the lady, you know. Um, so you got that. It just seems like, all right, we're gonna be paying for the kids to have less skills. Like, come on, what are we doing here, people? How did people get tricked into this? This is insane. If you're in like a really bad area where like the public schools are just like trash, I understand it then. But like in a lot of circumstances, it seems like there's very little need for this because you just look at the alternative and you're like, all right, well, I pay the taxes for this school nearby, and they seem to have like these rights and everything, blah blah blah. All right, sure. This doesn't seem so bad. Also, another thing when it comes to the classes and stuff, what's really funny is that at a lot of these schools, um, one because they just have less classes, they just have like less AP courses and classes in general. So it's funny. It go back to the idea of like, oh, well, we're gonna get the kids prepped for college and make their job easier, and make them have a better experience and whatnot for when they're there. We're gonna not give them the opportunity to like max out on getting those AP credits. There was kids I remember I met in college that they had like so many fucking AP credits, they were like able to get like 3 majors or something. And they were like, "Oh, I just went to a public school," and I was like, "That's crazy. That would have not like even the smartest kids that I know, that went to like the private like prep school I went to, they they were so limited. They were like 1 or 2 kids every other year were able to take like one class at like some other nearby school because they were like really accelerated in that thing. But I know a bunch of other people from like all these public schools they were like, yeah, I spent my last like year and a half in high school just like on a college campus. I was like, that's fucking nuts. And then they're like, yeah, I had like 45 credits coming in to whatever local state college, and they're like, yeah, I was able to get like a degree just like that, just bing bang boom, stack that up. It's like good for those kids, man. It's like hell yeah, that's awesome. Some of us are paying to not be able to have that opportunity. Like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing? I don't know where this part's gonna fit in, but I wanted to just throw this tiny little thought in there too. Um, but I think a lot of prep schools, there's gonna be a one-sided politics issue going on in either direction. Um, Obviously, if it's like a religious prep school, it's probably going to be leaning more like conservative or whatever. So you're going to have to deal with your kids maybe being slightly indoctrinated in that sort of way. And then the ones that are not, there's like the school I went to, and then there's also like many other like prep schools that I've like heard of. Like I played sports against some of them that are more like much more like liberal leaning and stuff. And the kids might get a little bit indoctrinated. I think indoctrinated is the wrong word in both of these examples, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. And here's the real kicker with the whole AP courses in prep schools. Because they're not funded by, or well, I think they might be funded, but the way that the law works with the public school system and like the AP bullshit, and the way like private schools and like prep schools are like in the legal sense of how they operate, they don't have to like abide to all the rules of like the AP system. So obviously, I think if they have the courses, they need to have like a minimum of like, all right, they gotta like prepare the kids somehow for when the test comes, they're gonna be like prepared. They would at least the school I went to, which I from what I've heard, a lot of these schools do because they just have like their own bullshit. They just do the bare minimum for the AP courses. So like even the best teachers and like some teachers that like would also be like college professors at some of these prep schools, they they don't do anything to prepare the kids for how to take that specific AP exam. And then because of that, like they only spend like a couple weeks doing it, like the bare minimum in time. They also don't. The whole year doesn't have to just be like, all right, we're gonna go over this, and then we're gonna go over that. Which like this is gonna be in that AP exam. So when it comes around, it's like you get a good score, and then now like look at us, they got a good score. Now you got like way less fucking credits to take in college. You're prepped. No, I know. I think like my school had pretty much the same rate as like all the other public schools in terms of like what people scored. Which it's like, why would you be paying for like the same? It's like you know, if all the kids had like a fucking they had like an average like all right, they get like 4.8 out of 5 on the AP exams. It's like all right, well that's crazy. They're doing something, but it wasn't like that. So I don't know. I just remember it was absolutely nuts to me learning like how little work a lot of my friends did at the local public schools, and they were all like smart kids, came out to be like great students, and got like all got into like good like the same equivalent level colleges as like a lot of us in the like private school and everything. And I was like, huh, the craziest part to me is that they had like so much less stress in their life because they didn't have to worry about like doing so many assignments every single day for like so many classes. And even if it's just like bullshit work, it's just like it was just hilarious learning. They're like, "Oh yeah, I get like oh man. Oh man. Oh man, I just get some had to just get some water there. Got a little bit of cotton mouth going. Woo. Um, oh, I think another thing about these fucking schools. Another thing about these fucking schools is just also pushing the ideology that it's like a college only way to go about being successful. It's like, oh, you need to go to college. You need to go to college and get this sort of degree, and then you'll figure it out. Which is just like that's not how the world works. Like, there's a lot of people that don't need it. And also, what I think is really funny about these schools is that it's kind of a conflict of interest because the whole point of like a school should be all right, we're going to get the kid ready so that once they become an adult, they're prepared for the world and they've learned information, like enough information to function in society. They've learned social skills. Um, they've learned. They should, at the very least, just be ready to, with the information that they've learned and gathered in their time in school, um, they should be ready to make some sort of decision of like, well, now do I pursue more school, more learning, some sort of degree, or do I just pursue like a trade or some sort of like skill that you don't need to go get like a degree for. The goal should be to prepare the kid for that moment. You know, when they're 17, 18, 19. I think now, if you are able to afford the opportunity, I think gap year is the way to do it. If the kid is thinking about college, if they're not thinking about college, just go start working right away. But I think if a kid is thinking about college, maybe do a gap year and either spend it at home, just living around town, or maybe just a city you think you want to live in, or just like somewhere like abroad, get like part-time job or something, figure something out. I don't fucking know. But yeah, we're getting sidetracked here. Anyways, it's a conflict of interest that these prep schools and just schools in general. It's like, all right, they have to be able to prepare the kid for that moment, you know, and they gotta like decide on their own. Like, I'm gonna be a member of society now, or like merging into that. You don't have to do it like all immediately like right away, but you guys get what I'm saying here. Um, but these schools, especially like the private prep schools, they get graded on like how many kids they put into colleges, and then also like how many kids they put into certain ones. Usually like ones of higher prestige. But I think there's also something where it's like they want to be funding the local like state schools more, or if you can get into like a certain like kids into like an Ivy League, then you have like those weird connections. You can maybe work your way up, schmooze it all the way to the Rothschilds, the Epsteins, if you want. I don't know. I'm sure some people would at some of those prep schools, the Christian ones. Woo! Hello. Not all the Christian ones, just the Catholic, which there's a lot. Uh-oh. There's a new pope, I think, since the last episode's been recorded. Shout out him. I can't remember his name. Oh, no, he's from, it's Leo, right? He's from Chicago. He's American. Fuck yeah, baby. We win. Yeah, dude, the rest of the world's fucked, man. We get the pope. Our president is about to be convicted of sex crimes pretty soon. Um, maybe, I don't know. We'll see what's happening. Last I heard, there was no list, and there was a list, and now he's not on the list. I don't even know, man. I'm sure that it's not even a list. I think it's just like piles and piles of information and a plethora of video files, all with 1 minute missing. Each file has 1 minute, one key minute missing. All at the key moment. Yeah, they're actually not at the same time. Once a day. That's what was their excuse? Like, oh yeah, like once a day when we have once a day the like footage like rolls over, you like skip a minute or whatever. But that minute isn't at the same time every day. It's always just at the one time where like, where did this guy walk in from, and how come we didn't see him leave? And then like, oh, in this 5 minute period where we think he'd be here, there's a minute missing, huh? What's going on, buddy? Where were we? Oh yeah, conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest to be graded and incentivized to throw kids only into college and into the college system. Because even if they like aren't a good fit and they only go to like a bad school, it's still like graded good for them because they're like, oh well, like look at this, we have like a 98% success rate of like getting kids into college, which it's like maybe that's good, but also like if you kind of look at all those numbers, it's maybe not the best thing because we're like, well, some of these things seem forced here, um, and it's like, is that really what is going to be best for this student now becoming an adult? For the, it's going to be best for them. Is it going to be best for society? You know. So it's just a huge conflict of interest that they're like always pushing this ideology. I mean, the whole like idea of going to one of those schools, just in the name, college prep, it's just crazy. Where it's just like, yeah, we're gonna prep the kid for this. This is the only option, and it's just not like. But then they also try to like preach those messages where it's like, oh yeah, you don't need to like do that. But it's like, no, you guys are clearly like pushing this ideology, that you need to go to school. And then now look at this. Now there's a huge fucking mess where it's like, oh, there's so many fucking kids and people in debt, getting even like good, worthy degrees that now we're just oversaturated to hell. And then it's like just difficult to find a job for a lot of people. And it's like, well, what was the fucking point of spending all that money just to have a lot of people be put in the same, just to have the person be, by the time they're at certain stages in life, in the same position as other people that just went to like the local public school. I think that's the part where it's just like, well, what are we doing here? Are you guys really doing what's best for the student, or are you just making money off the fact that you can get kids into a college? Hmm? Did we think about that one? Oh, I need to go get some more fucking water. I drank it all. Alright. We're back with some more water. We just checked the bets we have put in on the MLB today. They're both looking good right now, but still more game. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good water. Ripping the Benjamin, baby. Oh, yeah. I don't know. It just seems pretty scummy to be operating a business like that, you know? Just feels like you're taking advantage of people, taking advantage of kids, taking advantage of kids, and people that just want the best for them, you know? Not everybody has the time to do all the research, you know? Investigate each little part of every city just to put the kid in the right place. It's too much work. It's impossible. By the time you learn all the information that you need, it's too late. That kid's grown up. I don't know why this got so dire. Maybe I did have a dire mood the whole time. Did I have a dire mood the whole time? Maybe I did. Who knows? Who knows, honestly? I was thirsty the whole fucking time. I don't know why I didn't just like take a break earlier and being like, let me go get the fucking water. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Not again. Bro, what are you doing, man?